right there where you can have it in the comfort of your home. And the ones who want to come to Florida, I mean, not Florida, come to Ohio, we welcome you with great anticipation and great enthusiasm. You are welcome to see boxing at its best. From the rooter to the tutor. There we go. We're there, man. Thank you for coming out and being a part of this.
All right.
Press conference.
Thanks, Messiah. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a good evening.
Recording stopped.
I am not giving Don King my prepaid card number on his website. They better put that shit on fight.tv. I didn't know we was going to watch that whole thing through. So if you don't know, Don King is hosting a pay-per-view with Tabisu Machunu versus Iyunga Makabu, with Trevor Bryan versus Jonathan Goudry on January the 29th for $49.99. $50. Don King is 90 years old and he's more coherent than Joe Biden. You think he's Illuminati secret society? Come on. If anybody would be Illuminati secret society, it would definitely be Don King. You know you want to stump the man to death, right? Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so we gotta crack into this. So basically, we were supposed to just do a check-in on that live stream of that Zoom call, but it was Don King on there. So it was like, all right, let's see what he got to say. He can be hilarious. And he was. But as you can see, he old, you know, and he just started rambling on. And after a while, you just don't know what he's talking about. That's how old people are. You know, especially once you start, you know, promoting, and that's what you call it. So anyway, here right now, I got these Bob Arum top rank legal documents, and we read half of it yesterday. And basically the gist of it is it's a breach of contract. Pretty much, Terence Crawford was supposed to get 2 fights a year. In 2020, he only got 1 fight. He made an average of $4.5 million a fight, so he wants $4.5 million back. But he also doesn't like the comments that Bob Arum has been making, and I'm just summarizing the lawsuit, about how Crawford doesn't sell. And in the beginning of the lawsuit, in the introduction, for example, I want to read some of it again just to recap you. You know, you pretty much... Okay, I'm going to read some of it, and then we're going to go, you know, just to refresh your memory. Because to be honest, you know, racism isn't funny, but this shit is kind of like, bro, you know, I know I'm not supposed to be laughing and shit, but it's like, really? Like, really? So, all right. For years, professional boxers and others in the sports world have called out Top Rank's owner Bob Arum for his disparate treatment of black boxers, including those very same black boxers that Top Rank is contractually obligated to promote. Because this is boxing, a sport with a checkered history, and because Bob Arum is now dismissed as a grumpy old white man, Arum continues to make racist and bigoted statements and purposefully damage the reputations of black boxers without any consequences. This is generally because the affected boxers who are on long-term contracts with Top Rank fear that if they speak up, they will be placed on the sideline and not get the opportunity to fight during the life of their deal, which could be 5 to 7 years. Less than 2 weeks before this complaint was filed, Top Rank, through Arum, called WBC interim heavyweight champion Dillian Whyte a black man, greedy for requesting what he believes to be a fair dollar amount to fight WBC lineal champion and Ring Magazine heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, a white man. Meanwhile, Top Rank's president, Todd DeBuff, who was fully aware of Arum's racist statements and treatment of black boxers, keeps his mouth shut, waiting to take the helm of Top Rank after Arum dies or retires. So that's pretty much it. You know, and I'm guessing that maybe, you know, Crawford felt betrayed by Todd DeBuff. If you don't know, he's second in command, the son of the wife of Bob Arum. And reports are him and Floyd Mayweather were close. And he was instrumental in the deal between Mayweather. One of the pieces in the Mayweather Pacquiao thing. So basically, Terence Crawford in the lawsuit is saying, yo, he know Bob Arum just be saying crazy shit, and he just be letting them say it, just waiting for him to die off so he can take over. You know, but the gist of it comes pretty much where Top Rank offered Terence Crawford, they made an agreement to offer Terence Crawford a fight with Errol Spence. And it's like, why or how could they offer him a fight from a rival promoter? So he was supposed to be offered this fight by the end of 2020. His contract was up, you know, after the Shawn Porter fight. So here, let me read this, you know, just to summarize before we go on. Top Rank breaches the 2018 exclusive promotional rights agreement. Pursuant of the 2018 agreement, Top Rank was obliged to offer Crawford 2 fights per year each year between October 13th, 2018 and October 12th, 2019. October 13th, 2019 and October 12th, 2020, and October 13th, 2020 and October 12th, 2021. During the first year of the 2018 agreement, Top Rank offered Crawford 2 fights between October 2018 and October 2019. Fights with Jose Benavidez, October 13th, 2018, and Amir Khan, April 20th, 2019. Crawford was paid $3.5 million for Benavidez, with $45,000 in training expenses and $4.8 million plus $50,000 in training expenses for the Amir Khan fight. Remember, that was a pay-per-view. During the second year of the 2018 agreement, Top Rank offered Crawford, only, wait a minute. During the second year of the 2018 agreement, Top Rank offered Crawford only 1 fight between October 13th, 2019 and October 12th, 2020, which was the Kavalauskas fight. That was the WBO mandatory. That was December 14th, 2019. Crawford was paid $4 million plus an additional $50,000 for training expenses. Thus, Top Rank breached the 2018 agreement by failing to offer Crawford a second fight in year 2 of the agreement. During the third year of the 2018 agreement, Top Rank offered Crawford 2 fights between October 13th, 2020 and October 12th, 2021. Kell Brook, November 11th, 2020, and Shawn Porter bout was signed on or about September 2021, with the bout being held November 20th, 2021. Crawford was paid $3.5 million for the Brook fight and $6 million for the Porter fight. Top Rank also paid $50,000 in training expenses for each of those two fights. At all times during 2018, Crawford was healthy, ready, willing, able to compete. His average compensation under the 2018 agreement was $4.5 million. Thus, Top Rank owes Crawford no less than $4.5 million for his breach of the 2018 agreement by failing to provide Crawford a second fight during the second year of the agreement. Now, you can kind of say right there, right? Let's start right there, talk about that a little bit. Top Rank, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. You know, probably going to say, look, it was the pandemic, whatever the case may be. You know, we don't know the full details of the contract. Was no matter what, Terence Crawford, even if it was a studio fight, you know, were they, you know, obligated no matter what, whatever the contract says, to offer Terence Crawford a second fight in 2020 during the pandemic. You know, now, of course, Bob Arum was going in the media saying, you know, he didn't want to keep losing money on Terence Crawford, but yet you were obligated. You know, it's a messy situation. So let's go on to the other part. Top Rank fraudulently entered into and breached the 2019 Kavalauskas championship bout agreement. On October 11, 2019, Top Rank and Crawford entered into a championship bout agreement for a 12-round bout for Terence Crawford to defend his WBO championship belt against Iglias Kavalauskas. Both Arum and DeBuff negotiated the 2019 Kavalauskas bout agreement with Crawford on Top Rank's behalf. During the negotiations in or about October 2019, Crawford and his negotiating team informed Arum and DeBuff that he would not take the fight for $4 million being offered to him. So he turned down the Kavalauskas fight. Arum and DeBuff informed Crawford that he should take the offer because a fight with Errol Spence was right around the corner and Top Rank could quickly make a Spence-Crawford fight happen. In fact, Arum and DeBuff said Top Rank would include a Spence bonus in the 2019 Kavaliauskas bout agreement in excess of $900,000 because they were confident they could make a fight with Crawford and Spence before the end of 2020. This made the Kavaliauskas fight worth it for Crawford based on the Arum and Spence agreement. The Arum, Crawford, DeBuff representations. Crawford agreed to fight Kavaliauskas under the money terms offered to him. 2019 Kavaliauskas bout agreement contained the bonus provision that entitled Crawford to a bonus of excess of $900,000, which Top Rank was required to pay Crawford on or before December 31st, 2020, if Errol Spence Jr. was physically able to compete in a professional boxing and Top Rank was unable to offer Crawford a fight with Spence on or before December the 20th, 2020. So, how could they offer him that? That doesn't make any sense to me, right? Especially when we know how boxing is. You know, imagine Eddie Hearn, you know, telling one of his fighters like Conor Ben, yeah, you know what, re-sign with me. And, you know, we're going to get you a deal, you know, to fight, you know, Errol Spence Ugas winner. How does that work? You know? And I don't know, man. It seems pretty ugly. So let's go on to the second part right here. This is the part where we left off yesterday. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. This video is running a little longer. We're going to have a part 3. I'm going to tell you, but let me get the reading. This is the part I didn't read yesterday. Arum and Top Rank publicly criticized Crawford to intentionally harm his reputation and interfere with his ability to sign contract with future promoters. In addition to his inexcusable and blatant racism, Arum has a history of criticizing black Top Rank fighters who he does not believe will resign with Top Rank. His treatment of Crawford is a particularly glaring example of this pattern. Although Crawford never stated that he would not resign with Top Rank, Arum figured that his unfair treatment of Crawford would likely keep him from resigning with Top Rank. Arum made it his mission to defame Crawford and harm his chances of signing lucrative contracts with other boxing promoters in the future. Arum has made the following comments about Crawford while simultaneously promoting Crawford under the 2018 agreement. So here are some quotes here they have from Bob Arum. I won't lose any more money on Terence Crawford. If he doesn't, then who the fuck needs him? He may be the greatest fighter in the world, but hey, I'm not going to go bankrupt promoting him. Point number 3. The question is, do we want to keep him? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. A beautiful home. Number 4. Again, if we did this fight with Spence and put our money in for half of the first and Crawford wins and Heyman wants to sign him, be my guest. For Christ's sakes, in other words, I'm not going to go in my pocket anymore for Terence Crawford. Number 5. Crawford's never done anything on pay-per-view. While Arum loves to criticize Crawford and claim Top Rank has lost money on Crawford fights, Top Rank chose Crawford's welterweight debut against Jeff Horn to be the first major fight broadcast under Top Rank's lucrative deal with ESPN to promote bouts on ESPN's new streaming platform, ESPN+. The bout was a ratings bonanza, launched ESPN Plus, and resulted in millions of dollars to Top Rank. Yet Arum has the audacity to claim he could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. On information and belief, Top Rank has lost millions promoting its popular and well-known white fighters, yet Arum has not openly criticized them. The boxing world has taken notice of Arum's statement about Crawford. Floyd Mayweather stated that Arum treats him, Crawford, like he's property or something like that. Mayweather further stated, I feel like you don't really respect Terence and he's just blatantly trying to get anything, any type of money he can out of him, he's going to get out of him. Dana White, head of UFC, stated regarding Arum, pay your fucking fighter what you owe him. That's your job. Arum is a piece of fucking shit. and I fucking hate that guy. White. Sorry, unprofessional. White also commented that it is Arum's job to figure out how to promote a fighter as talented as Crawford without criticizing him. On information and belief, Arum's statements about Crawford were intended to and does make it more difficult for Crawford to sign with any other boxing promoter. Arum's statement regarding Crawford's performance in 2018 and various bout agreements with Top Rank and his ability to draw large pay-per-view numbers and promote his fights were made only once Arum convinced himself, based on the treatment of Crawford would not enter into a new deal with Top Rank. By making statements that Crawford was not profitable boxer and therefore unlikely to draw significant viewership, Arum, and by extension Top Rank, indicated to potential television programmers that scheduling and airing a bout featuring Terence Crawford would not be profitable. Ooh, ouch. These comments were made in direct attempt to curtail Crawford's efforts to sign a lucrative deal with other boxing promoters besides Top Rank. Top Rank has essentially attempted to scare off opportunities for Crawford to fight in televised bouts, thus interfering with Crawford's right to receive the benefit of his contract with Top Rank and for his future boxing career. Top Rank's fraudulent misrepresentations, negligence, bad faith, and torturous actions also created legal fees and costs Crawford has been compelled to pay to pursue this action. Legal mumbo jumbo. So listen, I'm gonna mark this right here. Yeah, it's pretty much saying the same thing over and over again. Third clause. I'm gonna definitely read this tonight. So basically, I don't know, man. I mean, he is right. Your promoter shouldn't talk to you, like that, and especially, in public saying he don't sell, because if your own promoter is clowning you and saying that you don't sell, other promoters are going to look, your own fucking promoters, throwing you out there. So yeah, in my opinion, he has every right to sue there. The racism thing, it is true. We do notice that Bob Arum, we don't hear him talking about white fighters like that. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And, reading this makes me wonder, did Terence Crawford really try to sign with PBC, or did he go meet with somebody and, he didn't like what he was hearing about, what they were maybe offering him? And also, Top Rank has, done some damage to him. Me personally, all along, I kind of seen something along the lines coming because, to me, you can kind of see that he was being froze out from fighting PBC fighters. And, only certain fighters would be sent over there. Hold on. We're lagging. I don't know why. We're lagging. I don't know why. So the question now is, who does he fight next? Where does he go? I mean, the good thing is he's not under contract with a Top Rank when he launched this lawsuit. So therefore, he don't have to worry about being put on the shelf, but that's for damn sure that he's not going to fight any Top Rank fighters. And Top Rank, whatever fighters they have, maybe Josh Taylor, maybe Liam Teofimo Lopez one day in the future. We do know that they, they're probably going to steer their fighters away from that. It's not necessarily about white fighters, because also in here too, from what I'm seeing, is that if they're going to call Bob Arum a bigot, then I'm looking at it like he can be an equal opportunity bigot, because he was also talking shit about how Kelly Pavlik can't sell. Julio Cesar Chavez had shit to say about him. But what I'm getting from this, it's like, they're trying to say he goes the extra mile when it comes to black fighters. Like he's extra disrespectful with black fighters. That's what I'm getting from it. But the racism part, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think that's just to put it out there. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. it's not about racism. It's about breach of contract. That's what this is, breach of contract. And the fact that, you know, he's hurt Terence Crawford's marketability with his comments. The racism part is just that, you know, that extra seasoning. Like, look, like, you know, and there's this too. This is the reason why he's doing it. Now, regarding the Black Lives Matter thing, listen, I'm not down with that shit. You know, I'm down with Black Lives Matter, but not that the grifters. So I don't like my sports to have social justice politics in them. I'm one of them type people. You know, I want to just watch the motherfucking game. I want to just watch the sports. So I did like that part about ESPN. Yeah, pretty much. I think it's just, you know, the headlines pretty much, you know, but you know how it is, especially on social media, people running with the racism part. But listen, he does have a history saying fucked up shit about black fighters. It's like, yo, that's your promoter. Remember how he threw Rigondeaux under the bus? Hell, I was mad too. But it's like, bro, that's your fighter. Like, what is you doing? And, you know, they're, you know, coming after Todd the Buff, who's the next in line. Like, look, he just don't correct Arum. He just like, look, I'm just going to wait for him to die off and take over after he's gone. You know, it's a very crazy situation. Very, very crazy situation, man. But now it's like, who does he fight next, you know? I mean, who knows? You know, I've said it before. Maybe it's time for him to go to PBC. But the thing is, he won't be going to PBC on his own accord. It'll be like, you know, because he has to. That's fucked up, you know? Because now PBC can be like, all right, look, you know, you're going to be the B-side over here. I don't really want to get into it, man. But we're going to have to talk about it in more detail. I got to read some more of this shit. So we're going to save that for another video. Thank you for watching. I'm going to chop this video up. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow. Saturday night, we're going to be streaming live during the Gary Russell versus Mark Magsayo fight. Live boxing stream. And then on next week, we're going to be here. We are going to buy the Trevor Bryan, you know, Makabu Machunu card. And then February the 5th, $74.99. We're going to be here for Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios. So take your time out, like the video,